Henshin Inspection presents Going Ultra. This is MJ. I'm an author, I'm an artist, I'm an analyzer. Join me as I talk about Ultraman Blazar, Episode 20, Night of Insects Chirping. So, let me just look real quick. I'm not going to read the synopsis, even though I'm kind of sometimes including them and sometimes not in the show notes. But anyway, yeah. So, this was an interesting episode. It was a little bit more of a one-off episode. I will remind you if you don't know, or I'll say, if just in case you don't know, whether I'm reminding you or I'm telling you for the first time, I want to let you know that I was very disappointed with episode 19 of Blazar. It just felt totally off to me. It felt like the win was unearned, and it felt cheap, and it felt like a big toy commercial. I made a short about that, and yeah, it was pretty much slamming it for being an empty, soulless toy commercial. And, you know, in summation, Blazar has like fallen really, not really far, but like it's starting to tumble down, and that's really sad because I love the suit and I love the idea of it, and I love the cast. I love Johnny Young Bosch being the voice for Gento. Like there's a lot good going on here, and it's too bad. It's too bad. So anyway, this episode, it's interesting. It's a little bit of a complaint. So Cedric Sir told me about Ultraman or Ultra 7 episode 24 or something like that, Return to the North, and he talked about how that was referenced in a previous episode, and or maybe it was two episodes. It was the Alien Canon episode. That's what it was, and it was referenced there, and it's kind of referenced again here. So it was a great episode. I fully admit that, but it seems really strange to me that let me see who this is. It seems really strange to me that the creative team, would go back and once again reference this episode. Let me see if the wiki notes anything about that specifically. But yeah, I mean, in that episode, the guy goes home and he is asked to the guy, Teruaki in this case, goes home because his father has collapsed. In Return to the North, the sharpshooter guy from whatever the Ultra 7 team is called. Sorry, I don't know. I only watched a couple episodes of the show. He goes back because his mother collapsed, and it's his sister who tells him that his mother collapsed, and you got to come home now. And in this, it's his brother, I think it's his brother, who tells him, you got to come home because dad collapsed. And it's really strange. It's really strange because you have that connection, and it kind of doesn't make sense to go ahead and do that. And I don't know why they chose to reference that episode again. You have the interaction between father and son, as opposed to son or mother and son, where they're talking about the career, and like they're even bringing up like wedding or marriage profiles to him. And Teruaki's like, I'm not interested in getting married. And that was the whole thing. The mom wanted her son to get married so that he can come and take over the farm and live a peaceful life. And Teruaki says, I can't do that until all the kaiju or until we've got too many kaiju to fight. And his dad says, well, are you ever going to defeat the kaiju? And it's a very much like a very similar vibe, very much a similar feeling to the mother in that episode of, I'm just going to pull it up, Ultra 7, episode 24. Ultra 7. Oh yeah, I did a whole review on it, in fact. So let me see if I link to it in that, because I'm looking at my own notes, which are on mgwinners.com. So I should probably link this episode to this, because it's totally connected to it. They're totally connected to each other, and it just seems really weird that you would do that. Now, I praise that episode because it had a very touching moment for the characters, and it had a very touching, yeah, that's right. So this was referenced in, yeah, it's the Alien Canon episode. That's the important thing for you to know. But yeah, it's like almost the exact same scenario. So let me pause this real quick. Yeah, when Furuhashi was on the way returning to Hokkaido because he received false report that his mother was ill, a patrol jet of Defense Force crashed with a civilian. So like that part's not true, but like this confrontation between mother or parent and child about what they're doing with their life and how they're going about things it's still there. And it's really frustrating because why would you be revisiting that when you've already revisited it? Now I'm revisiting my argument against revisiting it, so I'll try to stop. But it's really frustrating because while that was a great episode, having two homages to a single episode in one season of a show, I don't think is a good idea. If you wanted to like expand that fantastic episode into a whole season, I could kind of see you doing that, because you'd have to, a 24, 25 episode season, you'd have to take chances or take different routes, and you'd have to really expand and do something else, so that it's not just the same thing every single episode, because that would be bad. So, and of course these people would, they would avoid that. So I don't know, that's really interesting to me. I'm trying to figure out real quick. So how am I going to figure this out? So I'll go back in here. I want to say it was episode 5 or 6 of Blazar, just to see. Oh yes, the invading aura, exactly. So the invading aura was written by, let's see, drumroll, by Jun Tsujigata. Interesting. Okay. Written by Jun Tsujigata, and the screenwriter for this episode, Night of Chirping Insects, is actually Toshizo Nemoto. So it's two different people, and they're referencing the same thing in the same series. I don't know how the showrunner let that happen. It seems like a really strange choice, and it seems, I think it's a bad idea. I've been criticizing it this whole time, so I'm definitely against it, and I wonder what really happened there. Aside from that, though, it was an interesting episode. Teruaki is an interesting character. He's an interesting balance of things, different character traits, and I don't really have my head fully wrapped around who he is and what he is as a character, but something I loved from his interaction with his dad, which, yes, I criticized doing it again, but it's because the setup was almost the same. Had it been different, which they easily could have made it different, it would have been fine. He tells his dad that the way I fight and my involvement with the Science Patrol, what I do with my life, is inspired by you. It's because of you. The way that you are, the way that you've been with this farm and with this family and with whatever endeavors that I've observed through my life, that is the attitude and the demeanor and the manner with which I proceed in my life. And, I'm taking a different path from you, Dad, but I'm walking in your footsteps, essentially, or I'm walking the same way. And that was really touching and really moving. There was this beautiful moment at the end of the episode where his dad's hacking away at the soil, and he gets in on his hands and knees, and he picks up the dirt, and he says, "This is the earth, or this is the ground that my son protected." And it was really cool. But what's interesting about Teruaki is that he is like a thoughtful person. He was, kind of sympathetic to the kaiju. In the Nichi Kazaki episode, he wanted to talk to the professor, and he didn't want to kill the professor unless he had to. He sees that there's some sort of complicated relationship that people have with the kaiju, and you get to see that in this episode because he's like a thoughtful, clever, interesting person who does what he has to and goes hard at what he believes is the right thing to do, I guess you could say. And the interesting thing about that is what he ends up doing towards the end of the episode is he ends up setting things up so that the kaiju, these bug kaiju, are all massacred. He figures out that he can manipulate them by using the fact that they're attracted by a certain call or sound to get them all. He uses it tactically in the battle to have he has Emmy broadcast it, and it diverts the kaiju over here so they can do something. But then he gets C4. He gets a couple of bricks of C4, and he straps this device phone or whatever it was, to capture the sound, and he's playing the sound over and over again. And he throws it at this giant egg that's full of larvae that are going to come out, and it attracts all these other larvae to it because it's a distress call so that they know to go protect the whatever it is that they're protecting, the larvae, I guess. It summons them. So anyway, he throws it at them, and before he does that, he says, "I'm sorry." Or I think that's exactly his line, "I'm sorry." And he throws the thing, and it blows up the whole egg sac, all the larvae in there, and then all the ones that are attracted to it as well. So he recognizes the fact that kaiju are living, breathing creatures, and he doesn't just want to mercilessly massacre them for no good reason. If they can be allowed to live, he will allow them to live. And it's just a really interesting character. But, then again, he's like a farmer, right? He comes from this kind of family, and there's varmints and pests that hurt your crops or whatever. So he's probably used to dealing with those in an interesting, nuanced way. And I like it because he's not like a bleeding heart for kaiju, but he's also not brutally cold and just wanting to massacre all of them, wipe them all out. He treats them like they're a real part of the world and has an interesting and nuanced approach to them, which I really enjoyed seeing. And there were funny bits with the whole play that they have to do about the how to what to do when you see a kaiju and all that stuff, and that's funny, but not really worth mentioning at this time because I want to keep it short. But I liked the episode a lot. It was a big improvement over episode 19, and the team being come together and working and being clever, and Earthgrown got pasted down by this mucus from the insect, and so did Blazar, and he was in big trouble, and he really tried to fight, and he was moving around a lot, and the way the action worked out was a lot better. I don't even remember now if he summoned his bird thingy, probably, with the fire gauntlet thing to finish off the kaiju at the end or not, but which was a Zuka something or other. No, I don't have it. I lost it. It's okay. But yeah, oh no, here we go. The kaiju is called... Who's that kaiju? It's, Zugugan. That's what it's, Zugugan. Anyway, he does use the Feardrin armor. And anyway, just whatever. It's fine. Like, now that he has it, him using it isn't going to bother me too much. But the way he got it bothers me. But I like how he used it just at the very end. And how clever and tactical he was. Or not tactical, just like he got through most of the fight on his own, and he only needed the stuff at the end to like free himself. He could have killed the kaiju any other way. They're just doing it to promote the toy or whatever, and it didn't feel as hollow because like he earned everything else in the victory. It was just the finisher that was done with the toy, and whatever. I'm over that, but I actually like this episode a lot. That was a very good one. Hopefully they don't get any less in quality than this one. Anyway, that's all I have to say. Check out my, I'm still slowly working towards writing and getting published my Tokusatsu inspired, Ultramanish inspired thing with magical bugs battling monsters, and I'm writing a short story that I'm submitting. I wrote 2 short stories. One is a noir superhero, and one is a fantasy with dragons, actually, and a guy slaying a dragon. And then those are submitted. I don't know if those have been accepted or not. We'll see in a week or so. And then I also have a story that I'm writing. It's Weird West for Raconteur Press. Weird West 2. It's a Western that has my magical bugs battling monsters in it in the Old West. And I'm wondering how that's going to come out, and I think that should be interesting. So anyway, I'll let you know if that gets released, if it's going to be published or not, and if it doesn't, hopefully it is, I'll go ahead and release a thing about it. I know it's not, well, it's tangentially related to Ultraman, but you might like it, so I'll definitely let you know when that's out, available for you to read, whether it's for free or through, which I think anyway, I'll let you know when it's available to read, and you can check that out, as well as looking forward to the rest of my stuff. So anyway, until next time, folks, take care, be well, and be Ultra. I hope you enjoyed that. Subscribe to keep up with me. Like and share to help me reach more people like you. And go to mjmunoz.com to find your next favorite thing. And don't forget to let your voice be heard. Stories are always better when you're part of the conversation. Until next time, be well. This is MJ signing out. This has been a Story Over Everything production.